Yes!
Hey!
What's
Here
up?
we are.
Finally, dude.
Sorry, we had a huge technical difficulty on my end. I apologize, but we're here now.
That's
It's
okay.
good to see you here.
Dude,
Oh
I
my
am dying to hear your perspective on this. I don't even know where to get started because I'm at the point
Yeah,
where
it's a lot.
it
This
is a
is
lot.
hectic.
It is a lot. And I
So,
need to write down this timestamp.
so to run down the timeline of events really quickly, I'll just use the one I sent to you. Already we're on the first part where Illymation made her video, TBYS, Think Before You Sleep. Makes the claim that she's peddling misinformation, which I would honestly, with the Illymation video, I would honestly say she did peddle misinformation. I'm not even gonna say kind of. I think she did.
Okay, what kind of
She's
misinformation do you think she peddled?
I don't think she. Okay, so I don't think using your source from a podcast that claims to be.
Oh, I've been streaming the wrong screen this whole fucking time. Oh, damn. Okay, I didn't even realize that. That's my bad. I thought it was linked to my other screen.
God.
I'm on a
So-
new setup than I am compared, the normal.
Did you get like a new computer?
No,
I don't think
I
using-
moved. I moved my computer.
Oh, that's unfortunate. I don't think using one of your sources, right, which is so the Self magazine one point. I think what he meant to use the phrase tabloid information was because if you look at the website that the Self magazine website, it genuinely feels like it's like one of those tabloid types of websites.
Okay.
And I think that's what he was making that claim. Granted, I'm not going to speak like I know what he was thinking, right? But that's just my perspective on how he interpreted that.
Okay.
And the other one was the the podcast. Yeah, the what was it? Self-maintenance, I believe. Self-maintenance podcast. That podcast and their hosts make the claims where essentially, right, that they contest the point that it's debated that diet, like being overweight, leads to diabetes, heart attack, and all that. It's like, no, obviously it does, and I don't think getting your information from that as a source for health and fitness isn't the best way going about, dieting or even trying to lose weight or get into shape or doing whatever you are in terms of your health. That's terrible.
Okay.
Because I looked into that self-maintenance podcast. And I tried looking for a an episode where they were talking about self-help. I found one. And I thought it didn't strike me as the type of podcast where I would get my sort of self-help. If I'm going to do that, right, I would much rather trust someone, like, I don't know, I'll use a UFC fighter. Chael Sonnen used to be a UFC fighter. I would trust him more in terms of like for nutrition and health, because at least he's gotten it from like actual professionals.
Okay. Then let me ask you this: Why doesn't
go ahead.
Why isn't he criticizing the podcast then at that point? Because I mean,
Oh.
obviously I would say to a degree that it is Illymation's like responsibility to do that, but also not everyone is an expert. Not everyone knows that, hey, maybe I shouldn't trust this source. And I'm sure that it was probably a situation where, like, I don't know if for you that you're speaking of, I don't know about your perspective right now, right? But I mean,
My
like,
perspective. Okay,
if
so
you
my
haven't
perspective
been-
is this.
if
I'm
you
sorry.
weren't
I
told,
think it's.
what?
I think it's important. I mean, I don't think you can just throw out the excuse that, well, she didn't know that it wasn't trustworthy. Because I mean, yeah, it kind of is her responsibility. Like, I mean, it's if I tell you that international Judaism is the reason for Germany being poor, then I mean, I gotta back it up. Something. I mean, I gotta say something. I can't.
Right.
Because I mean, I can't
Yeah.
just tell you something
don't
and then be
think-
like, well, I didn't know.
Well,
Especially
I'm saying,
for people
like,
who are
in the
claiming to be
context,
health
okay.
professionals.
So
Especially if the
if Think
Oh,
Before
sorry.
You Speak didn't, if he didn't
I swear
clarify
to God, if
in
you
his
say-
video, if he didn't clarify in his video, would you have known that this wasn't a trustable source?
Yes.
Like
He didn't
that's what
clarify?
I'm saying. Like if
Um,
this podcast wasn't called out by Think Before You Speak in the video, or Before You Sleep, sorry, would you still write that off as a not viable source?
I wouldn't
I would
either.
have
I would
from
much
the-
rather,
from-
if you're going to make a video about health, I would still rather you cite a source that is actually credible.
Well,
Wait,
they,
is
I mean,
it-
they
when it comes to
allege to
health.
bring on health professionals and stuff like that too.
Well, health professionals aren't exactly health experts. Like,
I
to
got a
me,
question. So,
I guess that's a
is,
really dumb way. Okay, that's a dumb way of presenting that point. I guess what I mean is, not every health professional has the same opinion on health. Obviously, right? You can claim to
Okay,
be a health
yes, I agree
professional,
with
right?
that. Not everyone has the same perspective on it. Yeah.
Yeah, not every health professional views health in the same way. Obviously, right? They didn't. The podcast hosts don't view it in the same light as every other normal person would, because they have very out there takes. Like they're very like I would go as far to call it radical takes.
On health,
From what I
like
saw.
from that podcast.
Yes, from
Okay.
that podcast in
Wait,
specific.
so,
Even the Self magazine had some very radical out there takes.
Okay.
so was like this podcast like debunked and stuff or no?
No. Well, what? Okay, what are you referencing exactly? Like, what was debunked?
No, I'm saying okay. So, what was the podcast's name?
Self maintenance.
Okay, yeah, because like I don't know if like the podcast was like, you know, if it was debunked or if it could be a credible source. You know.
Well, then that also well that's worse for Illy then, because that would mean that she probably know it was not debunked, but that would make it worse on her. No, like using a debunked
If it's a
source of
debunked
information.
podcast
I'm not-
and she still uses that, then yeah, that's a problem. But I'm saying if it's presented in a professional
Well,
light, if
she
it's being
she's
like, if they allege to bring these people on who know stuff, right?
hold on.
Then
Actually,
how
where's the
like
Important point,
transcript of her
actually.
video?
I think
I need
actually
to see the
this
transcript
brings
of
up
her
a really
video.
good
Let
point.
me pull it up because I know she
So
said something about that podcast.
okay, what are you saying, Brennan?
Sorry
I
about
was
that.
saying I think it's actually is like really important because our question here is how do we know that if they present it in a professional light? And so obviously, I mean, obviously it's important to look yourself, but these people, it's also their responsibility to be able to prove to you that the information they have is legit, right? So like citing, so like if you write a paper in school, you have to cite sources because it's presented in a professional manner, but if you don't cite sources, then it doesn't really matter, right? So I think I don't know, I don't have the self-maintenance podcast pulled up, but if we look,
I can't
I would
find it. I don't
assume
know where it's because I typed in self
I would
maintenance
assume
podcast.
that there's
and a bunch
Hold
of
not
on.
articles came
something
up.
cited in there that
I'm gonna find it.
All right,
Okay.
here we go. So, and also I have the transcript pulled up here from Illy's video about the podcast.
Okay.
Okay, I'm reading it right now.
Can you
here
send
it
it to
is.
me?
The what?
The podcast.
So,
That's called
hold on.
maintenance phase.
Maintenance
Oh,
phase?
maintenance phase.
Okay.
Yeah, maintenance phase, bruh.
Is
Oh
it
my god.
PH?
Why did I say self
Or is it
Yeah.
like maintenance, like
There we
like,
go.
All right, so here it is.
Oh wow, that's a small
Um,
podcast.
I
It's a
revisit a
pretty big one.
podcast I hadn't listened to in a while. The show is called Maintenance Phase, and it tells about Aubrey Goen and Michael Hobbs. Each episode they go over diet trends and fads, the history, the myths, the biases, and they offer personal insight and humor on how to be kinder to yourself and in the wake of diet culture. This is the sponsor. I just love the podcast. I've been a Patreon supporter for a long time now, and I say this because they have really helped me reconsider what it means to be healthy, and I can't think of enough for it. That's a huge, that's a really damning statement here, if you ask me.
So
Because
she's saying that she credits them to getting healthy.
I would say that she credits them for basically shaping her views on health. That's a pretty substantial evidence there. Not evidence, statement, a huge statement there. At least in terms of like where she got her information, right? If she like actively said, well, not even actively, admitted that these people were a source of her information in terms of diet, I have questions. I have a lot of questions.
I mean, yeah, she did go on to say in this podcast that literally like
Yeah, and even
there's
went
no
as far to say
evidence
that she was a
being fat
longtime
causes health
Patreon
issues. I
supporter.
mean,
Like, this isn't like out of the blue, like, no, she isn't using this offhandedly. She's been
She's
listening
been
to this
actively
podcast
using
and has
that to
supported
influence her.
and,
Yeah.
and supporting them as well. So there's a lot of evidence to suggest that she's not. I mean, from what I've seen from that podcast, not viable or credible sources of information. If I'm going out of my way to consult internet celebrity or figures for my for my health, my God, I need help, like actual help. When I did dieting, and I've done dieting before, I didn't even consult like the types of people that you would see. Think before. And also, another point I would like to point out: Think Before You Sleep actually has credentials in this field.
Yeah.
He has he has continuous learning. He has a degree in this field. He of all people would have actual insight into this. Now, granted, I don't, and I'll state my perspective on this. The Illymation video was bad. There are points with the Think Before You Sleep video that I don't necessarily agree with, especially how he presents them. But I would say that they're more better constructed than what Illymation did with her video. Did not deserve to get doxxed. That's for damn sure. I think we can all agree on that. And the Noah Samson video is very disingenuous with how he frames the situation between Think Before You Sleep and Illymation. We'll get into that can of worms.
Because
when we
I have a
cross
lot
bridge.
that I want to talk to you about that, because that is
Yeah,
I think that I think Noah Samson's video is very straightforward with it. I think Before You Sleep is at the point where this, like, I was audibly laughing at some of the stuff that he was saying, because there's just some key points in here that are ridiculous. There was one a second ago in his second video where he starts criticizing the way that she animates her... What?
Yeah, you're talking about how he animates Aubrey Gordon, how she animates Aubrey Gordon and her mother.
Yes, I think that is fucking like criticizing how you animate your own mother and then tracking down the pictures of her mom, that it could be her mom and it could not be. We don't know. He doesn't confirm that. He also doesn't confirm some of the sources that he pulls up in his video are the sources that Illymations used either. Because it's a situation where, like, Illymations didn't, like, put every source in her video, because it was a very, like we both watched the Noah video, right?
Yeah.
Think Before You Speak, he couldn't find the source for Illy's stuff, for her research, and so he typed in just basic things and went with the first source and said, whoever wrote this needs to be fired, or like, and it was just like...
I remember the quote.
You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
And so it's just... There's a lot of stuff about this that could be also framed as, okay, Think Before You Speak also didn't do the research, or if he did, the research that he did is warped in a way that is very, very disingenuous.
Well, the information he's working on is based on what Illymation presented, and Illymations did not present her sources. Of course, right, there's an extent to, like, how much that argument has its own weight, but I think it's more so reinforces that Illymation, reinforces that it's not a good look for Illymation in terms of presenting information, because if you're going to, like... And I don't agree with the point that Think Before You Sleep made about the whole making animations for children, because animations animations can be for anyone. There's a whole sector of animation made for adults, made for teens, made for children.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, we went over that point earlier.
It's a general medium. However, because it's a general medium, you're appealing to a general audience, and when you're appealing to a general audience and giving them, information, right, that is, let's be honest, not from the best sources, or even sources that are outdated. If we're going off of that one source, right, that was the first search result for the National Library of Medicine, and it was apparently outdated. And then Noah basically pointed out there's another one below that one, but we don't know which one. That's both speculation on their point. We'll get to the Noah Samson video later. I'm sorry, but basically my point is, if you are making a video that's for general audience, right, not just for children, right, and then you are confident that the information that you're presenting is true and credible, but in reality comes from sources that are very biased, very misinformed, and also make some of the most radical takes out there that I've ever seen, maybe reconsider structuring your video and research that isn't just misinformation.
Guys, Bundle One says, didn't Illymation admit that her animations are meant for younger audiences?
No, because here is a screenshot of Illymation's analytics of her age group.
Yeah.
That's not her. See, that's a problem. That's not her admitting that her audience is meant for children or not.
But that is quite literally her audience.
Confirmation or denial. That's an audience. That's not her. Yeah, that's not her admitting that her audience is for her target
I
audience
think
is
he brought up a
children or
Twitter
whatever.
post in the second video. I think it was a Twitter. It was some kind of post that she made. It was where she like it was her quoted saying, "It's not this one right here that we're looking at. It was in the second video where he, I believe, he showed
Let's
where she
see.
said."
I believe. Let's see. Where is
Let me
this?
try and find it for you so you don't have to take
Okay.
too long.
But
Alright, thank you for that.
this is quite literally her age demographic.
I mean,
Only
can't
11% are kids or teens or whatever, right?
Yeah, but
So-
can't like that? Well, can't that like be like misleading? You know, it's like if I go to my
it's like the
analytics.
problem with taking things at face value, and that's the same. I actually want to go into the docs thing because I have a point about taking things at face value when it comes to stuff like that. But with this point here, with this in particular, excuse me, sorry, I also ate earlier, so I'm a
You're
little.
good, yeah.
Yeah.
There's a lot of
but-
stuff with
but
taking
the
stuff
problem
at
with
point
taking-
value or face value.
Yeah,
as
there's
well.
a
Here.
problem with taking stuff at face value, right? People on the internet can lie, and it's very easy to do that, right? With the same thing with the docs too, and this is what I'm about to bring up next. Those people who threatened to dox Illymation specifically after the Think Before You Sleep made his video, those people could very easily just use Think Before You Sleep's video as a red herring to basically dox her.
Yeah,
I will
yeah.
say, Epic Hentai Gaming, you did bring up a good point that he does bring people that are not exactly they're very extreme, they're very radical on that side of
Yeah.
the political spectrum, but that applies to everyone. There are radical people whether or not they're on a political spectrum or not. It doesn't matter what party you align yourself with,
I
what
think it just depends
ideology or
on
beliefs you
the
hold.
audience he's cultivating. Again, I
Yeah,
don't
I
want to
mean-
imply that it is remotely like he's not responsible
Yeah.
for his audience, right? And I want to get that out of the way. But also, there's no denying the fact that because he made this video, it resulted in Illymations getting doxxed. It is
Well, she
directly
had been
referenced
doxxed
in the
before.
dox message that the reason why they doxed her is because of this video. And
Okay,
the,
and we're
the
taking that at face value, right?
I mean, face value is, I mean, like, unless there's some conspiracy
it's pretty
around
egregious,
it,
don't
the
get me wrong,
docs
it's
that
pretty
came
bad.
out is like admitting it is because of this. Like, I don't know what else kind of value we're supposed to take it at because it is literally right here. Like they
I
say
don't
that
know
in
how
the
much
docs message.
Yeah, but how much of that? Yeah, but how much of that is actually just them, saying, "Oh, we're using this as an excuse," or well, again, it's speculation, right? But how much of that is just them saying that because it's a convenience? It's convenient for them to just blame it on Think Before You Sleep as a way to like be like, "Oh, we're a part of his radical audience."
They could
and
have
we're
just
doing this
said
on
that it
behalf
was
of
because
him.
they didn't like her video, but then the doxer specifically references Think Before You Sleep. Or they
Right,
could
but,
have,
like,
again, they go into mention, oh, there's the woke culture and promoting fat culture or whatever. Like,
Yeah.
they could have easily just mentioned that, but they specifically mentioned Think Before You Sleep.
And you don't think this could just because that they use it as they're using him as a red herring?
Why would they use that as a red herring? How does this benefit the doxers in any way? To throw Think Before You Sleep in there.
Yeah, it's like I don't see why someone would dox her if they weren't like a Think Before You Sleep fan.
I think convenience or just because there are people out there who will just do malicious things just because, right? People will
That
dox.
is also true. I don't think that arguing semantics over why this, because I don't think anyone's arguing the point that, hey, maybe there's a conspiracy behind this, that someone just wanted to make people mad at Think Before You Sleep or some shit. I think that this is a situation where this whole situation we have to take at face value because it's all we got. I mean, reading in between the lines, there's not much, like, there's no evidence to lead this to a conspiracy that, oh yeah, I just want to cause chaos and shit. There's none of that. It's just they quite literally outright say that it was because of this back and forth that it with Think Before You Speak is the reason that they doxed Illymations.
I think the only reason why I go into the semantical argument is because again, like, her dox was already public before this. I mean, well before any of the videos I
This
think before you
promoted
sleep
it to
made.
the point where she had to move states, like
I
immediately,
will say
and she
this,
was getting
like,
death and rape
regardless of
threats.
I will say, regardless of the fact that it happened or not, it was still damaging because of the fact that she took such a financial hit from it. It's a tragic.
I wouldn't even say it's
It's tragic
financial.
no
I would
matter
just
how
say
you
it's
see it.
life threatening. Like, I mean,
Yeah.
obviously she lost
Yeah.
10K over it, but
So wait, where are we seeing? I didn't know this. Where are we seeing this information that she? How much money did she? I don't. Where did
she
we find
lost
this?
10K. It's referenced in the Noah Samson video, who has spoke directly with Illymations, that she spent 10K moving to flee the state that she was in because of the rape and death threats.
Because to be honest, that sounds like a little bullshit to me. Like,
I mean,
I
here's
feel like if
the
we just
hold
take
on. I
your
can
word
pull up
for
the
it.
threats. Like it's.
Oh no, I don't. I believe the threats. I'm just saying, I don't think that she moved anywhere. If we're just taking your word for it, I mean, 10K is honestly is awful cheap if she had to move houses. Number one, I mean, if she unless she moved under a tent.
Well,
I
I mean,
mean,
I mean, like,
it was probably just to get her. Like, I would assume moving. Like, collectively, I would say this whole process has caused 10K in
Well,
damages to
he
protect herself.
explicitly stated she lost 10K because she broke the lease on her apartment.
Yeah.
Which
is that what it
that's
said?
the Yep, that's what she.
Okay.
Well, that's what Noah Samson said. That's what she told Noah Samson. So according to Illymation, she lost 10K because she broke the lease on her apartment.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm just speculating at this point, so I don't really have much else to say. But
Oh,
it
you're
does.
fine.
Yeah.
I'm a
No,
little
I
sucked
get
on
what
that
you're
one.
saying. I get the point. Yeah. It's just kind of. I don't know. I don't know. Where were we?
We were talking. So we were going on the doxing. That was where we were.
So the doxing. Okay. Again, it's not Think Before You Sleep's fault. It's literally just his audience. The video objectively wouldn't have been made if he didn't make that video, and I think it kind of. It kind of promoted the fact that there was a dox involved too, like making 3 additional videos on it as well. Kind of, I mean, that puts it in front of at least like 3 times the amount of people the original audience was. Like.
Well,
I
okay.
agreed with
let's break- let's-
most of the things he said in his original video, to be honest, except for the fact that he said he felt he needed to make the video to avoid a strike. So I don't
Are you
think.
talking
I mean,
about
I don't
his
really know
response video or his fat acceptance cartoon video?
the second one there. Yeah, that one
Okay,
that you're
yeah.
highlighting. That one. I think.
Of them can be cruel and malicious bullying.
I mean, I really don't know how YouTube works or what the risks are for strike or how hard they are. I know copyright, I've heard, is hard to get
Yeah,
rid of
copyright's
if you get
absolutely
strike
aged
for
to deal with.
copyright. But I don't know. I think probably continuing to make videos on it is probably, because, it gets clicks, it gets money. I mean, I really don't know. But,
Well,
I mean,
okay.
it seemed pretty sound, at least the first one that I watched. I'm not going to watch the other 2 because I think that's just kind of milking it at that point, probably.
Yeah, I mean, it's an hour and a half. That's a feature-length movie of Illymations drama. So Noah Samson brings up the point that mass flagging does nothing and pulls up 2 interviews with 2 YouTube employees talking about how each video, whenever there is a report, goes through the same process of, like, I guess filtration, I guess is what you should call it, of you get what I'm saying? So, like, they all go through the same process and mass flagging does nothing. That's why it's kind of and also to that point, Illymation's Tumblr, he makes a very disingenuous point as well, because Think Before You Sleep said that Illy posted to her 2.5 million followers to go and mass report this. Her Tumblr only has 2,000 followers, which is who she posted it to. She didn't post it anywhere else. And also, only 97 people interacted with that post. And so, it is very disingenuous to say 2.5 million people went and reported this video, when realistically, maximum 97 people did.
And that's assuming all 97 did it.
Yeah, that's assuming all 97 people did. I would assume not many people did it.
Did he say 2.5 million in
I
the
would
video?
still say
He does. He says 2.5 million.
Yeah.
I think he says to your 2.5 million subscribers. But yeah, I mean, if it's only
It's only
2,000.
about 97 people.
people that saw it. And
Maldoon says, I call bullshit on that. There have been plenty of times where where mass flagging has falsely taken down videos.
but
I don't know. That, I mean, they
like,
pull up
whether
people,
it's
you
one
know,
It's
person-
not like we can pull up
you
a
know.
number. It's not like we can pull up an archive of videos that were taken down and then see the number of mass flags that were done on them. Like,
Yeah,
there's no way to
there's
tell.
no like realistic proof for that, because
Yeah, I mean-
YouTube YouTube abides by the okay, they all go through the same process. Mass flagging doesn't do anything, and
I mean,
they all have to abide by the same rules. It doesn't have anything to do with politics or the amount of flags reported or anything like that. That's just where we're
This
at.
is,
But
and this
there
is
have-
where. Oh, sorry.
yeah, there have been people who like got mass reported, then just got banned for no reason. Like I
Yeah.
don't like one case I know is Hunter Avalone. Do any of you know? Do any of you know
I'm
him?
aware of
Yeah.
who Hunter Avalon is, unfortunately.
He was like another
I've heard
like
the name.
sort. Yeah, he was like another conservative YouTuber who
He
like
was, and then he
Yeah,
shifted
yeah,
over to
yeah.
the left about like maybe 3 or 4 years ago.
yeah.
and then-
I still watch him. It's like yeah, he got mass reported, and then his channel got taken down temporarily, and then like he ended up getting back in, but it can happen to where like if a bunch of people get mad and then mass report your channel, then
Okay,
you know,
I would
YouTube's
like to
gonna
make
think
the argument
something's-
that it's like, okay, it mass reporting may get the video taken down temporarily faster, but as long as it abide by the guidelines, then because it could be just a panic response from YouTube once they get enough reports. You get what
Yeah.
I'm saying? Like, oh, holy shit, this video is causing a problem. Let's take it
Well, that's the
down
thing,
and put it
that's
in
what
line
ended
to
up
be
happening.
reviewed. You get what I'm saying?
That's what what
Yeah.
ended up happening. He
Yeah,
ended up getting
exactly, yeah.
a guideline strike from this. He did end up getting a guideline strike because of that video, and people
Well,
got
okay,
it.
the guideline strike, that's on him at that point. I
In
think
what
that, I
way?
mean, the mass report have nothing to do with the type of thing that they get.
I don't
I
agree
don't
with you
know.
there. I'm going to contend that point right
Okay,
now, and this is
okay.
why. The guideline strike that he was violated for was. Hold on, let me pull up his tweet real quick. Actually, I'll just look on the Discord
He
because
said
I
it
saw
was
Ace.
for,
comment
I
that.
have it right here. Making fun of eccentric traits, and, where is it? Specific wording they accused against me was racial slurs and making fun of eccentric traits. I don't know about the racial slurs thing, but he seems to focus on the eccentric trait thing. I would say that's very objective. There's plenty of times where he does go after Illymation's appearance.
Name me a moment.
What?
Name me a moment.
Whenever he's
Like in her-
criticizing her appearance and shit. And then in his second video, he starts
Well, you
going
can't just.
like,
Well, that's vague. That's vague. That's extremely
like,
vague.
well, this whole thing is
in
vague.
her-
Like it says, I mean, they don't
I don't
cite
think
a
it is.
timestamp.
I can point out a moment.
Okay.
Sure.
Okay.
It's like it's in his first video when he was saying like she dressed up in like grandma clothes and that he was making fun of her hairline, which that was like the
Okay.
point
Well,
where he
hairline
was,
is
yeah.
innately like he goes into detail.
You can change how you look, though. The intrinsic
intrinsic
implies
traits
that
are
there's this things that you can't
cannot
change.
So
You can always
hairline.
change something about
you
you.
can't change your hairline. I mean that is
I
an
don't know what-
instance.
I'm sorry,
you
I
can
don't know what
change how
intrinsic.
your
I
hair
don't know
looks.
what intrinsic means. I'm sorry.
Well,
What?
no,
Okay.
like you brought up a good, like you can't change your hairline or shit like that. I mean, that's still a valid thing there.
Which
Check the
I mean,
transcript because I don't think he said that specifically. I don't think he said like hairline in terms. I think he just said like big head to like make it look like you've got a big head. Which
Down about
I
her
think he was
appearance
just
a lot.
mean. Like yeah, I guess I'll concede to the point that. And again, this is just one of the things that I have with the criticism with Think Before You Sleep. This is a big one.
Okay, so here
How
it
he
is.
Down about
presents
her
his
appearance.
points.
It says this is the transcript. I had ever been in my entire life. Lissa talks about how her appearance a lot in her videos. This is despite having decent features like strawberry blonde hair, blue eyes, and vibrant skin. She could easily be considered unattractive by most. If she just stopped wearing those grandma glasses, picked better clothes, learned how to style her hair instead of always leaving it flat to her head with maximum forehead showing, and watch some makeup tutorials. Now it's kind of hard to see what she's talking about when she comes with a dress. So let's Google the photo of that dress.
To the
And
dress. So let's
holy
Google an actual
shit,
photo of that
that
dress.
is bad.
And holy shit, that is bad. Why
Yeah. So I don't know.
did she think this would look good?
I would say that qualifies.
You can
as,
change
you
things
know,
about your hair. You can change everything about your fashion, your getup, and everything. She could have. She chose to wear that outfit,
Your good
and
features and
she
downplay your bad features.
also.
You do this
What
by
was
using
I gonna
different shapes
say?
and colors to draw people's attention towards
You can
what you want them to look
change
at.
those things
If my
about
upper
you.
body
Those
looks better than my
things
lower
aren't
body, I can
intrinsic. Well, the way that her skin looks, her eyes, her hair, those are things that you can't really change. I guess with context, right? But naturally, like you can't just change what you can't change your skin, right? That's just not possible.
Well, I mean, honestly, I mean, I don't really whether you can change it or not. I mean, it looks like he's just arguing
he
that
does go
she
after
can't.
her a lot.
It
Yeah,
looks like
and then in the
he's
same
just arguing
and
that
in
she
that same
is
yeah, and
looks
within that
fine,
same
but
point of argument,
she
he's
doesn't
also
take care of
complimenting her.
herself.
He's not
I mean, it looks like
complimenting
he's
her
just
at
saying that
all.
she
He
doesn't
just
take
says
care of
like
herself.
has
Okay, what the fuck, dude?
what?
Are we okay? We just read from the same transcript, right?
Yeah. I mean, she
Oh.
said. He says that she has attractive features, and then it's a backhanded compliment because then he goes in to absolutely go like, "Oh, grandma glasses, bad hair, horrible dress. The dress focuses on
What
her
does he
weight
say? I
and
want to see
makes
what
her
he
look
says in the
bigger."
30 seconds preceding this. Because
In the
what is
30
he? Why?
seconds
Why
after
is
or
he saying
before?
this? Before. Why is he saying this?
Before the backhanded comment.
Okay.
I guess that's
All
what.
right.
Hated the squishy
I
part
felt
under.
that
Yeah.
so
Yep.
familiar lava flow of shame consume me. I hated how wide my legs were when I posed. I hated that squishy part under my chin that stuck out when I smiled. But most of all, I hated the way I looked because I knew I was the heaviest weight I had ever been in my entire life.
Alyssa talks down about her appearance a lot in her videos. This is despite having decent features like strawberry blonde hair,
Oh,
blue
this is-
eyes, and vibrant skin. She could easily be considered attractive by most people if she just stopped wearing those grandma glasses, picked better clothes, learned how to style her hair instead of always leaving it flat to her head with maximum forehead showing, and watched some makeup tutorials. Now it's kind of hard to see what she's talking about when it
Yeah,
comes
I
to
mean,
the dress,
he
so
just
let's
puts
Google
two
an actual
pictures
photo of
side
that
by
dress,
side, and
holy
like,
shit, that is bad. Why did she think this would look good? Whoever animated this scene did not do that dress justice.
Yeah. So
yeah. So he's just saying like that she would look fine. Because he's talking about
saying
how
that
she thinks
it
she's.
would look fine, but doesn't look good in this, and then goes on to make
Was
fun
he
of her.
wrong there?
Yeah, I mean that's like Landon. Like that's like if you showed up like to my house right now and you just like in your hair was like it like looked like a bird nest, and I mean
Well-
and you.
Well,
I
and
mean
what's
it's
a
like you
point as
didn't groom
well
yourself.
is
But
that he's saying that she looks good, and he said this in the video. Like if you watched later on, he said that she looks good, but she has no fashion sense. And if she actually put time to actually like put more time into fashion, which again, like to an extent, the fashion point had some points where he was good, but was mostly bad with the way he was just presenting it. And if you see on his community tab, you can find this still there on the community tab. He conceded that point. He conceded to that he was being too harsh on her on the fashion segment. You can pull that up right now if you want.
It doesn't feel like constructive criticism at all throughout this. It just seems like
Yeah.
jabs at her. Like this
And he
entire.
felt
And it might have been like because she in her Tumblr post she says it's cyberbullying, right? And so I don't know. There a lot of this
she
comes
labeled
off
it
as just taking
cyberbullying
digs at
based
her.
on the information that Dylan gave her.
Repeat that.
'Cause again, oh, okay. So she called it cyberbullying based on the information that Dylan gave her. I mean, okay, well, without the misinformation that Dylan spread her, because again, she didn't watch the video. She admitted that she never watched the video.
But obviously she
Um,
has at this point, I would say, right? I don't know
I
if
mean,
there's
that's
confirmation on
speculation,
that,
but we can only assume.
okay.
But okay, assuming without the information that without that knowledge in mind, that knowing that she never watched the video and was fed false information by a supposed friend, because again, this was a supposed friend. This wasn't even like confirmed a friend. In the third video that think before you sleep made. Sorry, I'm burping a lot. Yeah, I got some steak, dude. I'm not feeling good.
I'm gonna get
Anyway,
some IHOP in a little bit.
yeah, brother, that sounds good right about that. I should have done that. There was an IHOP right next to where I was eating too.
Okay,
Oh, well.
anyways.
So anyway, as I was saying, right? Would we call that would we call this cyberbullying? Like, I mean, to what extent, right? Are we
I probably would, considering he consistently takes like she was okay, if you're in a public situation, right, and you're like he basically flamed her to 800,000 people whenever it was a situation where she was already like kind of critiquing herself, talking about how uncomfortable she was in that situation and how insecure she was in that dress. And then he shows a picture of her in that dress and says, "Holy shit, that's bad." Like, I would say that is objectively, yeah. Because, I mean,
Well,
there's no reason to throw in grandma glasses, showing too much forehead, watch some makeup tutorials. Like, that's, objectively, I would say that is, yeah, cyberbullying.
I would say harsh criticism, but I wouldn't say it's cyberbullying, because I feel like with cyberbullying...
anything could be harsh criticism. I mean, this isn't a situation where it's...
I mean, your channel's bad.
Okay.
Hey,
like,
hey, you do not disrespect CB2. If you want to get through him, you have to get through me first.
Thank you, Epic Hentai Gaming.
Yeah.
Is that what EHG stands for?
I'm being facetious here. I'm being facetious here, right? But that's the thing, right? I feel like for this to justify itself in cyberbullying, you have to be like malicious with intent. I don't think he was being
kind of malicious with intent though, because there's no reason.
Nah, no way, bro.
I don't know.
I mean, there's no reason to be like.
Okay, I don't know that. I don't know about that, because like, if you're going out of your if he said yes, he said this, right, but then it proceeded
to get a couple jabs off and make a laugh at her expense, right?
Sorry, but I feel like at that point that's speculation. That's speculating that he's doing this with intent. Like, you're actually thinking that he's doing this.
Okay, so did he make this segment in order to have a genuine conversation about her fashion choices? I don't think that's the case at all. I think it's just
considering that he spent
like, I mean, read the script here. It says he starts out talking about, or she starts out talking about how she was insecure because she was fat, right? Or because she thought she was fat.
Yeah.
And then
she says it's not the heaviest that she has ever been. And then
and then he says it's not even that bad because of that. He said it's because of her fashion sense, and then says here is why the fashion sense is so bad. And then look at this picture where she looks fine, and it's like he's basically just saying that it's not because of being fat.
Yeah, well, yeah, and he also just decided to give out pointers and tips after this. I mean, yeah, I get this. This part is pretty bad. Like, objectively, this part's pretty bad. But the reason why I'm not labeling it cyberbullying is because he does end up giving up pointers and tips about fashion. At least he's giving some advice. I don't think anyone with malicious intent would also give out pointers at the end. Like, that's just, I don't know. You could call it passive aggressive, yes, but to call it cyberbullying is just a bit of a stretch.
Okay, so if you're making, say you make just a video, an unsuspecting video, right? Like an Illymations, like just, it had nothing to do with drama of any kind, right? And then someone with 800,000 subscribers comes in and is like, hey, you're like, yeah, you have a really bad haircut. You're like, these are, I don't know, just starts flaming you for no reason, because arguably, I would say she's getting flamed in this. And then goes into, oh, if you just change this and this, it's not necessarily because he's a nice guy and wants to, like, help her fashion sense. It's just kind of so he can talk. I feel like there's no reason he didn't make this video to go in it and be like, hey, this is how you fix your appearance. And yeah, even then, who is he to tell her to fix her appearance? I don't know.
I feel like that's just I feel like that's just an appeal to an emotion argument, and I don't think it's just.
Well,
I don't know.
I mean, this whole thing is what that is it not? Because it's cyberbullying. I mean, that's what I mean. Emotion is gonna be involved with cyberbullying.
Well, I mean, like,
I want to use a familiar example here to kind of like define cyberbullying in my sense, anyway. Yeah, imagine you're like in a COD lobby and like someone calls you like a stupid like bitch or something, right? Yeah. I feel like that's kind of what we're calling cyberbullying here, and I feel like what would
wouldn't say that's like that is if they
called you
because that's not cyberbullying. Yeah, we'll use the same scenario. We'll use the same scenario. I'll build on that same scenario. I feel like the guy starts calling you names and then gets everyone in the lobby to shit on you. That's cyberbullying.
not
Okay,
even that.
so-
like if you keep doing it, like imagine like 3 days later you're getting messages on Xbox Live from the same guy, and he keeps fucking sending shit to you, and then like
I mean, that's
says,
kind
"I'm
of
watching
what
that."
happens,
Yeah.
that's just straight up harassment at that
Okay,
point.
Yeah,
okay,
that's-
okay. No,
Isn't that what's
hold on.
happening?
So, okay, so weeks later, sending messages, still harassing that person.
Weeks
How
later.
about
Oh, I mean,
weeks
if you
later,
continue-
making 2 more videos on the topic
Yeah.
that garner over 1 million views?
Yeah,
Yeah,
which was
like-
the first one was a response to a Tumblr post, and the second one was an extra content revolving
Well,
around
dude,
a completely
look,
different person that
when I
happened
went
to be
on-
involved.
When I started my Illymations video, like, I was like 2 weeks late on the drama, right?
Yeah.
I sorted by new in her comments, and the first
Her
2 comments
comments
were
are all harassment.
yeah.
They
like
are
the
all
first
harassments,
2,
death threats, like, they're bad.
yeah.
Yeah,
It's
I
like-
will say, Noah Sanson did bring up a good point at the end there, where before Before You Sleep made his video, it was full of positive comments, and then as soon as he did, like immediately an influx of like harassment came through.
But
Like
to
a
think that's a good
queso
point.
live stream.
To the COD
That's like-
lobby analogy, Call of Duty is anonymous, it's not personal, right? And that's to maybe, 20 people max? This is on a public platform being broadcast at, for this example, 800,000 people, and then if you include the other
We're not
two...
talking about whether it's public or not. We're just talking about what he said, and what he said was a criticism, and what the criticism.
I
to
think
me
it
is
matters the intent here, because he goes out of his way to pull up a picture of her in the dress and be like, oh, those
Yeah,
grandma
but you're assuming the
glasses-
intent is done with
Yeah.
malice, and I'm saying with what he said, in both the examples that he used, gave out pointers and also
Okay,
you
so
can say he
okay,
did make
do you
backhanded
feel
comments.
like out of it, like genuinely, if he were to if this was not out of malice and he decided to flame her and then give her tips out of the goodness of his heart, do you think that's what this was? Because I don't think that's what this is at all. I don't think he was like, oh, let me, I feel really bad for this person. Let me make sure to, post a video to 800,000 people.
Okay, I'm reading a chat here. It says he said he does it for his viewers by using someone as a scapegoat for his criticisms. He tells the viewer to be better. I don't know how to feel about that though. Oh, okay, so I guess that is right. Okay, yeah, he did mention that. I completely
Here's my
forgot about.
controversial statement after
Go ahead.
that one. I think at that point it's kind of up to like personal values, and like to me, like if someone gets on their YouTube channel and cites someone that says that I have there's no correlation between being fat and being unhealthy, then yeah, I think that person deserves rightly the criticism that you give them, and doesn't really deserve a whole lot of slack, because like I mean,
that's a little. I agree that Think Before You Sleep, it was valid to criticize the video. I don't think he was valid to criticize her as a person and her outfits and her personal features, right? Because at that point, it's taken away from the point of it.
I think I'll meet you in the middle. I'll meet you in the middle on that one. I'll meet you in the middle on that one. That's a good point, and I'll meet you in the middle on that one. Because
Okay.
I feel like, and to be fair, the reason why I'm meeting in the middle, and I will state this wholly, and I'm not afraid to admit this. If we're just gonna keep going back and forth with this point, and obviously we feel very different about it, but I don't think it's worth throwing so much time into it, because there are a lot of other things regarding this topic alone that we still got to cover. So we'll say meet in the middle, but I'm only doing it because I know we're just gonna dance around in circles about this.
Okay, that's
All
fair.
right.
Okay. Huh. Okay. Which is the next point?
Oh God.
Is
Okay.
this written down? I believe you were going over. I can't remember what it was you were going over earlier, Landon. You said something else. You started kind of talking about something, and then we got back to your.
Yeah, we kind of circled back around. I don't know. DJ Sauls said, even Omni said this. Said what? Okay, Bun the One said, I think tone matters a lot too, because I believe there's a difference between old commentary videos saying, wow, you look so ugly, maybe if you had plastic surgery, and what Think Before You Sleep said.
I think that's a fair point.
Yeah,
I think it's just the way he's so deadpan. I think just the way he makes he just delivers his video in a deadpan tone way just makes it seem more aggressive.
I mean,
well,
I feel like if he's saying like Jesus Christ, that shit's like that dress.
He said,
looks ugly,
"Holy shit,
then-
that's bad." I mean,
yeah,
that's
that's a pretty harsh tone.
Yeah,
You know?
like I don't know what other tone like you're not like holy shit that's bad like it's not like a it's not a like there's not many other ways you can take that.
there's not many, but like I don't know. I guess it's
I mean, I think it just comes down to like, I don't know, like
I think it's just
if
content
somebody
brain at
somebody
that
tells
point.
me like if somebody like just random stranger like tells me something like that, like yeah, it might be like a little hurtful, like maybe, but like
There, you get punched in the
honestly,
face.
yeah, no, not if I get punched in the face, but like what was I trying to get to here? I just think that like that might just be part of like the comedy, right? I mean, you've got to be entertaining. At some point, you're still making content, right? You've got to be a little entertaining. And when you speak deadpan the whole time, I mean, his two biggest factors that make people gonna watch it is basically the drama slash the research that he does, and really all that's left is just. I mean, he has to have some kind of comedic writing in there or something. I mean, it's not gonna be interesting at some point. But I
I
mean,
mean,
obviously,
But that doesn't need
you
to
know,
be at the expense of
maybe obviously with like holy shit, your dress looks terrible. But like, I mean, that's like a one-off comment in like a fucking 36-minute video here we're looking at. Like, it's not like he just keeps saying stuff over and
well
over
he
and
he
over.
does.
I mean,
He
it
says
kind
your
of
grandma
does.
glasses, your hair
Yeah.
looks ugly. Like it's
In
Yeah,
like a
that's
30
like-
second, in
But
like a
how
30
much of the
second
video
segment.
is that?
Interview-
And then
draw your mom to be fat, like that stuff.
yeah, well,
Well,
how much of the video is him like just outwardly like attacking her person, and then how much of it is like going into like other stuff? Like for example, the information that
I don't think
um
it matters the percentage because if I went on stage for 30 seconds in front of 800,000 people and just started shitting on someone's appearance, obviously that person's gonna be like that's
Yeah.
you get what I'm saying?
Wait,
That's not
that's
a
exactly what comedians do. Like, have you ever
yeah,
seen like a stand-up
I mean,
comedian?
like he's not a comedian. He's like making like an actual like
this is
video that's supposed to be taken seriously.
unless
like-
unless this is humor for him, but I actually don't remember if this is like something he made as a bit of humor or actually I'm gonna check that community post that he did regarding it because I think he talked about how he
I was
delivers his
checking his
humor.
community posts earlier. I think he took all of them relating to the situation down. Yeah.
I'll double check just to be sure.
Yeah, he's like, there is April 23rd, Congress be like, the bad news, we're banning TikTok. Like, that was 6 days ago. 2 weeks ago it's just a bunch of like memes. Oh, here's one from 4 weeks ago. Okay, never mind. I was wrong. It was under.
I'm reading it right now.
Okay.
Don't read that first paragraph. It's not really important. The second paragraph has what it says. But before I say anything, I want to repeat something said in the latest video. It is not my intent to actually give advice to people I am talking about in my videos. Everyone has a much easier
So
time
yeah, there we go.
seeing their faults in others than they do finding those faults through self-reflection. Because of that, the people I react to in videos are actually supposed to serve as a metaphorical mirror to the person watching
that's
it.
some
It's
bullshit.
a psychological trick to It's a psychological trick to get people's defenses down so they actually pay attention to you, and creating a story around the person I am reacting to will
That was all part of my psychological
to
plan to get you to pay
make
more
viewers
attention.
much
Shut the
more
fuck
likely
up.
to take the advice. That being said, That being said, there's one particular part of these new commenters focus on which was the part about fashion. A lot of them said that part was kind of random, but I think it is because they don't understand there are many people out there who look perfectly fine but are black-pilled into thinking they are ugly and therefore will never get a relationship. Because of that, I have started to use sections like these as a way of showing people that people can look significantly better if they just worked on their appearance. I have found that videos where I show examples of people look like when they make the right fashion choices have been effective at de-radicalizing some of the black players. Now for the confession.
translate-
Now for the confession. I will say that in this particular part of the video, I probably should have taken a different approach considering the circumstances. Oh yeah, this is where he admitted he basically like concedes to the point that he was too harsh on her. In the back of my mind, he did a typo there. I still think I am a channel with 1,000 subs, and the people I am talking about aren't actually going to see the video. Even though I know this is not true consciously, it does sometimes affect how I write videos. With that said, I should have been more considerate of Alyssa's feelings during this part of the video, worded it differently, and save roasting material for things like her research skills. I will maintain that the video does not break any of the YouTube rules, and I only commented on things that could be changed. And I don't just do that because it's against the community guidelines. I do it because
Dude, what's
personally,
up, Max? Sorry, someone in chat. Keep going.
I think it's messed up and not productive to make fun of something that a person can change. Make fun of something that a person can't change. However, since appearance is a particular soft spot for Alyssa, I should have worded this section with a little more empathy, like I did with the part where she was bullied as a kid. In Alyssa's case, her appearance is more of an issue with mental health than an issue with how she actually looks. So a roast on her is not the same as roasting Abby Shapiro for wearing a giant ugly shower curtain and calling that a dress, or roasting Ethan is online for dressing like he lives in his mother's basement and still eats off the kids menu. Oh my god, I fucked that up.
You're
Still
getting.
eats
I get
off
the point. We're kind of at the
Yeah,
point where that's yeah.
Actually, it's much more justified in Ethan's case because so I would like to publicly apologize for the way I wrote that the section on faction. It should have been written with the expectation that Alyssa was going to watch it with consideration of the things she is insecure about. Excusing the channel strike / deplatforming attempt, I don't think Alyssa is a bad person. I merely think she is a person who has opinions I don't agree with. That's not to say that there isn't a time and place to be more harsh. Certainly, some of the people I cover on the channel are quite evil and deserving of some very mean words. The Ace family comes to mind. However, Alyssa is not one of those people and deserved, and more polite on this treatment of this part of the video. TLDR, Alyssa, I should have been more empathetic during the fashion section. My apologies.
So we're kind of just at the point where yeah, he fucked up.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah, I mean, it looks like he kind of like knows, like, yeah.
He literally
shit on
owned
her
up
too
to
hard.
that mistake.
yeah.
So I guess what
Although,
we've been
honestly, in
arguing
my
for like
opinion,
the
I
last
still don't
15
think
minutes
I
was
still don't
just for
think he shit
nothing.
on her too hard. But I mean, it looks like that's, he's. I still don't think he actually shit on her too hard. But it looks like he understands that. Anyway, can you go back to that?
I don't
real
think he
quick? I
did.
wanted to.
I don't think he did either. I think if anything, like harsh criticisms can often be fair, and I don't know. I just don't see how he was being like genuinely malicious there. Of course, we have different perspectives on that, but
It seems like
I just can't see
generally
it.
everyone considered it to be malicious because he did come out and make this statement. Yeah, does that
Well,
make
Yeah,
sense?
I
in
guess
my
I'm not
opinion, it still
everyone.
wasn't.
I mean, yeah. I
Anyway,
mean,
so
I don't know. It
this
seems,
second
it just
paragraph.
seems like, second paragraph.
All right.
Yeah, that one that you're talking about, the psychological stuff.
Oh, is it?
I believe it was, yeah. Okay, so I want to translate because I think this is a real thing that he's talking about here. Because of that, the people are supposed to serve as the people I react to in the videos are supposed to serve as a metaphorical mirror. And so what he's saying by that is you look at this person and then you draw something that you
About
see
yourself
something
from
in the
that.
mirror about yourself from that, and then because it's not actually talking about you directly, you're more open to considering whether considering the criticism basically, and it may
He's
be a
literally
criticism of
holding up a mirror
yourself.
for you to see.
Okay, I
into
get
your
what you're
skin.
Yeah.
saying, but do you think that he was like, oh, this will make my viewers really think whenever he starts talking about her grandma glasses, her bad hair, and her dress. Like,
Well,
I
considering that
don't think that it was a situation
Yeah,
where
no,
this
actually,
will really
that's exactly
make
what
them
he
think,
says in the video.
You know?
That's exactly what he says. Because he goes right after that. He says, he's right after that. He says, "This is what I've said." He says something like, "This is what I've said before about to people about if you dress and groom yourself better,
There are thousands of skins
that a
available.
lot of people think they're ugly, but they're not." He says that in the video, like right after that. I'm pretty sure, and so that's like the point he's trying to drive home is that you're actually very capable of looking fine 100% of people if you just groom yourself and look better,
I mean, I guess that
Make an
makes
effort.
sense, but I don't think that was his goal at all there. I think that's just him trying to cover his ass, to be honest.
No, he literally
I
says that in the
I
video.
get-
Like, it's not like he's made the response afterwards. Like, this was in the same video. I mean, it's part of his.
What do you think? Okay, watching this, if you were doing a retrospective look on it without that statement, would you think, oh, he's trying to make the viewer really think here? Like, when
The whole
talking
point
about
of that
her glasses
statement,
and stuff. Do you get what I'm
the
saying?
whole reason he included that statement is because he's giving that metaphorical mirror. He wouldn't make the rest of the statement if he wasn't going to make the statement afterwards. That's the
And he
whole
also-
point. It leads up
and
to
again,
that statement.
that part of the statement that the whole metaphorical mirror thing, he already said that in his video. He quite literally, I think there's a whole part about it within like, I'm not sure, like I think maybe 5 minutes after
But just
this.
listen to like the minute afterwards where he go
There
find
is one reference of the word metaphor at 6:42 and no reference of the word mirror.
Advice.
we're not
Look
saying
up
he
advice.
actually said that.
Look
I'm
up,
saying
look
like
at advice.
Let's see.
Because I know it wasn't
Okay.
metaphorical miracle that he used. He said it, advice, something about advice, if I'm not mistaken.
And dietitians. I know it sounds like a good
It's
idea,
not- it's
but
not at
generally
20
doctors know
seconds. Keep
nothing
going
about
now.
proper nutrition because it's not a part of their training, and dietitians
It's
tend to
right
be all over the
after
place with the quality of their
he
advice,
talks about
particularly as fat
Okay,
acceptance
if
has
it was
creeped
right
into the
after,
field.
it'd be
So
around
in
the
my
11
opinion,
minute mark.
fashion.
So there's this here.
wait.
Not
So
a
either
bit,
Alyssa
right?
is getting
Just
bad
How do I
advice,
get out
or
of-
she's a client who is not willing to put in the effort to change her.
The he
Somebody
talks
help
about
me.
fashion.
How do I-
Just go to
how
the
do-
fashion part.
How do I get out of YouTube light mode? I want to not be cringe.
The
Yeah,
fashion
go to grandma
part,
glasses.
Yeah, grandma glasses.
Yeah, and then just watch the next like minute and a
Grandma
half.
glasses, picks better
Oh,
clothes,
here it is.
learn how to
I'm
style her hair
retarded.
instead of always leaving it flat to her head with maximum forehead showing, and watch some makeup tutorials. Now, it's kind of hard to see what she's talking about when it comes to the dress, so let's Google an actual photo of that dress, and holy shit, that is bad. Why did she think this would look good? Whoever animated this scene did not do that dress justice. The purpose of good fashion is to highlight your good features and
Should
downplay your
stick that a
bad
little bit
features.
further.
You do this by using different shapes and colors
no,
to
we're
draw
back
people's
where we
attention towards
started.
what you want them to look
Ugh,
at.
no,
If
not
my
here.
upper body looks better than my
We've
lower
talked
body,
about-
I can
we've
easily
been
draw attention
harping
to my
on
upper
this
body by
point
wearing
for
brighter
like
colors
the
on my
last
feet
20
and darker colors
minutes.
on my legs. Side note, if you're trying to lose weight and for some reason you insist on keeping junk food at dress justice,
No, no,
the
no.
purpose of good fashion is to highlight your
I'll
good
pull up
features
the transcript on my end, see if I can find it.
and downplay your bad features. You do this by using different shapes and colors to draw people's attention towards what you want them to look at. If my upper body looks better than my lower body,
Wrong
I can
search
easily draw
tab.
attention to my upper body by wearing brighter colors on top and darker colors on my legs.
So okay, he's saying that as a general advice to. I don't. It sounds like it's. I don't know. I still wouldn't make the point that it's a
That's not.
metaphorical
I don't
mirror.
think that's the particular part there.
Yeah.
I don't believe that's the particular part.
I'll
Side
keep-
note,
I'll
if
keep
you're trying to
going.
lose
let me
weight and for
find
some
it.
reason you insist on keeping junk food around,
That's
then you
not the
can pretty
particular
heavily
part because I distinctly remember he said in his video whenever he gives advice and it feels like it's for the person that he's talking about, it's not to them, it's for his audience. He made that very clear in his video.
Let me search by audience. Let me make sure I spelled that right. Holy shit. Okay. I'm pretty sure I spelled that right. I just want to make sure. There is not a single reference to the word audience in this transcript either. There's no mirror, there's no audience, there's no metaphor.
Yeah, I don't remember that part. I don't think he said that.
Yeah.
I'm
Wait,
looking
I
right
think
now. I'm looking.
So when you were showing like the mirror thing in the Control F and
Oh, you know what? I
think,
just realized. I think it's in his second video. I
Oh.
think it might
What-
be in his
what-
second
Yeah, wait.
video.
What do you think?
Hold on, go back to the community post. I
Okay.
think he said in there. I don't know.
I mean,
just
yeah,
saw
that's where it's
mirror
coming from.
highlighted.
Yeah, that's
No,
why we're
that's where
getting
we
that.
found
Yeah.
it. But I think I think I'm I think I'm
It was in the
misremembering.
second video. Yeah, the second video came out after this community post. So that, I mean, that's why he said it. It was a backtracking.
Yeah.
Like it wasn't any kind of, you know.
I swear to God, I felt like I thought it was in the first video. Oh yeah, I just got confirmation. It was in the second video. There we go.
Yeah. Which the second video is just pretty much a reiteration of the community's note, also with criticism of Illymations not drawing her mom fatter. So
Actually, I remember we were trying. Okay, we were talking about the second video, about the case of
accidentally exposed what
deplatforming.
was on his
That's
Sorry,
what we
what was
were on
that?
about before. We were talking about deplatforming. I guess so I was actually going to bring up a point regarding the Tumblr post. And then like the point that Noah Sampson made, which again, he did make a good point, right? 97 people isn't a big enough number compared to like 2.5 million, right? The problem is that it was still a call to action.
okay, it was, but it was a call to action to a lot lesser degree than what Think Before You Sleep said. And even if it was a call to action, YouTube said themselves that it won't have any effect on Think Before You Sleep's video. And if anything, Illymation's video, this video had more of an impact on Illymations than anything that Illymation did to Think Before You Speak or Sleep.
Which
Yeah,
I'm
but
not
that's about-
denying, but
that's-
you
that's
do
with the
realize that two
hindsight
wrongs
of
don't
it.
make a right.
Like, that's with the hindsight. Like, it's not like she knew it was going to be 97 people before she posted it, or that it was going to.
Well,
or that
okay,
YouTube,
at maximum,
it
was going to be 2,000 people because that's the
quite a
amount
lot of
that
people.
follow.
Like, imagine
that's still
2,000
1% of
people
her
coming to like your video.
And not to mention the
But
people
imagine
that were made.
2,000 people
Okay, right.
coming. It
Right,
doesn't
and
really
that's not
matter.
including. And that's not including all the people that were made aware of the situation after the fact that it got brought out onto like Twitter and stuff like that. That number
Wait.
could have easily skyrocketed.
But it skyrocketed in
Wasn't
Think
this,
Before
like-
You Sleep's favor, basically. Like,
Yeah, I was gonna say, like-
in the end, it had basically zero impact.
Like I was gonna say, this was brought to attention like by Think Before You Sleep.
Yeah, like there is no Think Before You Sleep is the one that gave it more attention by making this video quite literally trying to deplatform, which I think that's a stretch as well because there was no mention of deplatforming. It was just report this video for cyberbullying, which objectively he kind of admits to with that apology.
You know, like before like I like realized this whole drama was happening, I saw his like woke YouTubers trying to deplatform me thumbnail, and I thought that was like Illymation. I thought she like rebranded her channel or something.
You thought it was an Illymation video?
Yeah.
Yeah, credit
Like-
to the thumbnail artist. They actually did a pretty good job about that one.
Across the board,
Yeah.
the thumbnails have actually been bangers. So,
Yeah, and this isn't just like Think Before You Sleep. This is also with Noah Samson as well.
yeah, Noah Samson's one was really good. But I'm
Or
just
something I did think was pretty sus is like he gives the reason that he had feel like he had to make the video because he was going to get striked, but I do think it was just because of the drama. I do think he likes it a little bit.
because
Yeah.
there's no reason he could have there's no reason he had to make a third one either, you know. And I can guarantee there's going to be a fourth one because of all the things that's happened today with the video being
Yeah.
taken down and
Yeah, with Noah
reestablished.
Samson especially.
Yeah, so
Maybe, but money. I guess it makes money. I mean, how
well,
many
yeah,
more
he's
views
making
do these videos
bank
have
right now.
than the other one?
Like based off of my own CPM rates, let me do the little calculations here. Hold on, and this is I would assume he's probably
Yeah, it had
getting,
like double the views of his average video.
like what is this total? Like probably what 2 million views, and that's on the conservative side. Let's see.
Yeah, that's extremely conservative.
Let's see. 1.6 or one. Let's see. So he's got 24,000 or 2.4 million views. Sorry, let's see, 24, yeah, divided by 1,000 times. I'm gonna say like probably 5 because of how long his videos are. That's he's probably made 12 grand off of this. Realistically, he's probably made 12 grand, if not more. Because, like, let me guess, he has a Patreon, or let's see. Yeah, he's got a Patreon, a PayPal, and a Subscribe Star. So you got 3 options to show money.
There's no wait. How many? What are his like total views? There's no way. How much did you say it was? 2.7 million.
No,
It was 2.3 million. I think it was like 2.4 million views across 3 videos.
Yeah.
There's no way he's made $12,000. Is that like in the middle or is that like at the high end? Or is that like
that
low
is
end?
in the middle-ish. That's in the middle. Off of
Doesn't your
those 3
CPM
videos,
also vary?
I read. That seems like just a lot. I mean, I don't know anything about YouTube.
off of those 3 videos,
I mean,
that is about
he's like a
right.
big channel.
It depends on your RPM
Or-
rates.
yeah.
The length of the video matters a lot because you can insult mid-rolls. And also the I guess just the overall CPM rates, which I would say is probably around. He's probably got a CPM of 10, which brings his RPM to 5, which multiply that by 1,000 and divide that by 2.4 million, and that gives you about 12,000, I believe. So.
That is a lot of money. I mean, damn,
It is. It is. That's kind of.
And
That's
is
why
that in a
I don't
month
doubt
or is
there
that
being
in like
another
2 weeks?
one.
I don't.
In 2
Right.
months.
I just read.
2
I just read his
Oh,
most
in 2
recent
months?
tweet.
Okay, that makes sense actually. Okay, I thought you were saying that was like in a 2-week period. I guess I didn't even bother to look at the numbers here.
Well, he's only made
Okay.
3 videos. Yeah. So, I like in the here we'll look at his channel views over the past month. Over the past month, he's got 2.8 million views across all of his videos. So he's making well over 12 grand every month, even without this drama.
Yeah, but that's if they watch the entire video, like all of it, like right? Or is that
Not necessarily.
click on-
It kind of depends.
CPM is just regarded to how many people saw it, clicked on it, and then
Yeah.
they don't have to watch. Watch time is completely different from CPM.
Yeah. So
I don't know. It seems like easy to manipulate if you had just like bought your videos or something. I don't know. I figured there's maybe
Well,
complicated.
YouTube has a system in place for that as well. They know if you have live engagement or not.
Yeah. So it's very like he's probably made a good amount of just in the last month, probably over 12 grand. I wouldn't doubt he's making well over 100 grand a month.
Well, this is just a conservative estimate, and this is just basing it off
Or
of
not a
your
month, a year.
CPM
Sorry,
rates.
not a month. But yeah, that's just a conservative estimate. Like it's not necessarily like, obviously we don't know his stats. Do the vids have sponsors? The Illymations
No,
ones
his
don't.
videos
This
literally
one,
I
have
don't
no
think
Noah
they-
sponsors.
Samson's
None of
has
those videos have
sponsors,
sponsors.
No
I saw.
company's gonna sponsor him.
I don't remember the last time I saw a Think Before You Sleep video got sponsored.
I would say
genuinely,
it's I would say he probably doesn't get much. I would say he's very polarizing.
Yeah,
with his audience, you gotta like as an advertiser, you know, I wouldn't want to. I don't know. I wouldn't see anyone who would want.
that's too much of a
channel.
that would just be too much of a liability.
Yeah, it's a risk.
I mean,
Unless you're trying
Illuminati-
to, like shill I don't know. I don't know.
Crypto.
Also,
Crypto,
okay.
yeah.
So before you make the Illuminati case, EHT, Illuminati still has the numbers. That's what looks. That's what sponsors look at, and they think is a good thing. Think Before You Sleep is barely at a million, and I think Illuminati was like before she was like canceled, rightfully so, by the way.
Illuminati had
it was-
contracts and shit too of recurring ones.
Well, also
I-
like
I- wait, hold on, no,
she
no,
also
I
had
don't think
like
it's the
what
numbers.
2 million subs or something.
Oh no, like at her
yeah,
peak she had
1.3.
1.7.
I
Or
think at her
1.23.
height, yeah. Or
Yeah,
1.3.
a sponsor would
Or height
totally
tweet-
drop you if you were like you said, a polarizing figure.
My
like, it
God,
would
2
add
months without
instantly.
posting.
I would say objectively, Think Before You Speak is just because of the involvement with politics. Either way, sponsors don't normally go for.
Yeah, I
Hi,
wouldn't think so.
Burkitex. How's it going?
So yeah, Buratex, you're not in his audience. I'm reading chat right now. He used to be sponsored by a soap company.
Was he?
Yeah,
forgot
I mean,
about-
I guess so, but they're not on the Illymation video. I don't know. I'm just like, I don't know. I think I'm gonna wrap this up. I want to go get not Waffle House, IHOP.
Yeah.
I've been thinking about it now this whole time.
That's a Freudian slip there, don't you think?
What?
Bit of a Freudian slip there, don't you think?
I took Rosie to Waffle House last night, and she wants to go to Waffle House tonight. So, I want.
Kind of late. Is IHOP or you said
No,
IHOP earlier?
IHOP. There are certain
Yeah,
IHOPs
I'm
that are
going to
24
IHOP
hours.
tonight. Went to Waffle House last night, or technically it was today, because it was like at 1 in the morning. Anyways, I'm gonna head out. Thank you guys for coming out. I do want to hope MV should be more consistent. I'm gonna be home more, better internet. So if you haven't already, go ahead and subscribe, like the stream, all that. Do that for me. I would really appreciate that. I'm gonna go get some Waffle House. Thank you guys
Got a
for coming.
question.
Thank you for having me, Landon.
Yeah, no
Having-
problem.
I
It's supposed to be
appreciate.
doing
fun.
Yeah, I appreciate you having me here.
Yeah,
Thanks for
I
the
enjoyed
debate.
this. This was an interesting little conversation.
So
Yeah.
are you gonna
If you-
make a video on the
I
whole
might
thing?
I'll
or
probably
no?
end up making a video. Yeah.
All right.
All right. All right.